irritating to us. Now this habit, or this engram that takes place with evolving nature, is the thing that creates our soul or our spirit. And let me explain how that works. As this resonation comes out here at point C, an eternity is created at the very source, a lot of eternities. And this eternity adds to the second eternity, and a very subtle energy form is formed on the first explosion. And the subtle energy form has a habit or a harmony with creation. Like the atom, which is a far more complex matter form, follows a particular path and originates back at its origin. As it goes back the same path, goes out to a destination, comes back to its origin. And it does that many, many, many times. Everything is in motion within the universe. Everything moves from an origination point to a destination and back. Now, an atom is very simple. It follows one path from its origination point to its destination. But as one atom joins with another atom, it becomes more complex. A bond takes place. And what they do is they mutate, and the two atoms go together and they follow a third path, a new path from a beginning to an end. We could call this a molecule. And a molecule has a particular behavior exactly like an atom. It may have several paths depending upon the type of molecule that it follows or the path that it builds. And this is all under the law of cause and effect. There's a cause and then effect. Cause and effect, and it all can be explained mathematically. We will talk about it simply today so that we don't try to confuse anybody or allow anybody to get confused. Now let us just say this is the origination point, and this atom is created through the force of the bonding of A and B at point C, and it comes out into existence or manifestation, and it evolves around in this eternity until it has experienced a fulfillment. And nature fulfills itself. When something becomes satisfied or completely fulfilled with its activity, it ceases its activity and it drops back to the center point or dies, gives up its body. But the engram, or the knowledge or the intelligence that has been placed within the atom for the path, doesn't go away. The energy state of it. And it evolves down as it bonds with another atom down this path of evolution of the cylinder of evolutionary absolute time. And it may pop out down here, let's just say, at the 21st eternity. And at the 21st eternity, it may be something more complex. It may be an amoeba. And an amoeba acts in a particular manner. It's a one-celled organism. And where it got its intelligence from was the gathering together of all of the engrams of the atoms that make it up. All of the habits of those atoms that are constituent parts of it. And it will pop out to the surface of manifestation with an organization of intelligence of the engrams from all of its atoms, and it will manifest itself and live, and it will do the life of an amoeba. And it will swim around in the pond exactly like amoebas do and duplicate itself. And it will gain habits. And it will have offspring. And its offspring and itself drop back down in here, and they continue to evolve out till we come into higher forms of life, like the trees. And the trees we can see have a habit, like a pine tree has a habit of growing pine cones and needles and growing in a particular way because of its constituent parts or the energy knowledge within it. Or an oak tree. And we can go farther down the cylinder of evolution till we come to higher forms of life, like, let us just say, a squirrel or a mammal or even ourselves. And what we are is we're a combination of all of the engrams of the constituent parts of all the energy states of cause and effect that have brought us to this point. This continues on down the cylinder of evolutionary absolute time till we would look to some force or some intelligence that has organized itself because of cause and effect through the cylinder of evolutionary absolute time to what we could call it a God, because it would be overwhelming to us because of its harmony with the cosmos, because of its understanding of the knowledge and the actions and the harmony of creation. Question?
That is why we usually use the term God for something greater than ourselves that we can't understand. We always use that term and call this form a God.
When we were little children, we were told the word God. And God, when we were little children, meant something that was beyond us, something that we couldn't understand, something that was an answer to why we were what everything was. And as we talk about God today, all God is a result of the cause and effect of the bonding of totalness and nothingness through an evolutionary process of building up of the intelligence of the engram of cause and effect. And it's just something that has evolved farther than us, that is in harmony with the creation or the grand cause.
Because it has more engrams to draw from and more knowledge to draw from, that the entity does?
It's self-realized to the extent that the entity, if we want to call it an entity, which is proper, I guess, to call it an entity, or doesn't really make any difference, that it has allowed itself to sing the song of creation. It is in harmony with creation, and it has an understanding of itself and its creation and where it came from. And so we could call it God. Now, the animals may look to us as being gods because of their state of consciousness.
That's true. We don't know that. We don't know that, do we?
Doesn't sometimes when you play with your dog would allow you to do anything to it and it would never do anything back to you? It would give its life up for you, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
It looks to you as a god.
It doesn't anything to say.
It may feel, it may hurt, and it may love, and it may feel good about you. It may feel bad because of a scolding that you give it. But it may look to you as a supreme being or a god in its eyes.
Because you can drive cars now.
And you can take it for a ride in your car. Everything in nature is similar. We can look to nature around us, and we can look to that from its source of nature into its projection on into nature. The reason we have a difficult time dealing with God or being God is because we aren't allowing ourselves to harmonize with it or be in harmony with the creation. And when you allow yourself to sing the song of creation and become it, you are God because it's within you.
But you would equate then the universal idea of the God then with creation itself rather than an entity.
Yeah, creation is creation. All the gods are created by creation. And creation is an automatic process of nothingness and total possibility going into bond because they automatically generate each other. And they create God. Everything's a creation of the two grand opposites.